The door slammed shut behind her, echoing like a gunshot in the quiet suburban street of Maplewood, New Jersey, as 13-year-old Giselle clutched her backpack, tears blurring the sight of her parents' retreating silhouettes through the rain-streaked window. "You're not our daughter anymore. You're just ugly inside and out." Her mother's voice cracked from the porch, the word ugly slicing deeper than any knife, while her father stood silent, arms crossed, his eyes averted in cold complicity. Years later, standing on that same porch as a woman of 28, Giselle's heart pounded with a mix of fury and fragile hope, ready to unleash the truth that had haunted her family for generations. A truth wrapped in love, betrayal, and the unyielding fight for self-acceptance. Giselle Harlan had always known she didn't fit the mold her parents had crafted for her. In the manicured lawns and white picket fences of their upscale New Jersey neighborhood, where every girl was expected to twirl in dresses and dream of proms with boys, Giselle preferred scuffed sneakers, baggy jeans, and climbing trees with the neighborhood kids who didn't care about gender norms. Her mother, Evelyn, a former beauty queen turned homemaker, would fuss over Giselle's short-cropped hair and tomboyish ways, sighing dramatically as she tried to force her into frilly outfits. "Why can't you be more like your cousin Emily? She's so pretty and feminine," Evelyn would say, her voice laced with disappointment that felt like a constant bruise on Giselle's young soul. Her father, Richard, a stern corporate lawyer who commanded boardrooms with ease, was no better. He buried himself in work, avoiding the growing tension at home, but his occasional outbursts revealed his deeper disdain. "Act like a lady, Giseleandra, or people will talk," he'd grumble, his words heavy with the weight of societal expectations. By the time Giselle hit puberty, the whispers turned to shouts. She didn't giggle over crushes on boys. Instead, she found herself drawn to the grace and strength of girls her age, a secret she buried deep inside, terrified of what it meant. The abandonment came on a stormy afternoon in late fall. Giselle had been caught in the school locker room, sharing a tentative kiss with her best friend, Mia. A moment of innocent exploration that spiraled into chaos when a teacher walked in. Word spread like wildfire through the conservative community, reaching her parents before she could even explain. Evelyn's face twisted in horror as she confronted Giselle that evening. This perversion? It's why you're so ugly to us now. We can't have this in our family." Richard nodded grimly, packing her bags without a word. They drove her to a distant aunt's house in rural Pennsylvania, leaving her with a curt goodbye and a check for her aunt to handle the problem. Aunt Clara, a no-nonsense farmer with a heart of gold, took Giselle in without judgment. "Folks are fools sometimes, kiddo. You'll find your way," she said, her calloused hands offering the first real warmth Giselle had felt in years. Under Clara's roof, Giselle blossomed. She threw herself into school, excelling in literature and art, channeling her pain into stories of outcasts finding love. High school brought new friends, and college at NYU opened her eyes to a world where being queer wasn't a curse but a celebration. It was there, in a bustling Manhattan cafe, that she met Jordan. Jordan Reyes was everything Giselle had dreamed of, confident, with a laugh that lit up rooms and eyes that saw straight through to her soul. A graphic designer from Brooklyn, Jordan had her own scars. A family fractured by her coming out, but she'd rebuilt with fierce determination. Their first date was under the twinkling lights of the High Line, where Jordan's hand slipped into Giselle's, sending sparks that erased years of loneliness. "You're beautiful, Giselle. Not in spite of who you are, but because of it," Jordan whispered, pulling her into a kiss that felt like coming home. As their relationship deepened, Giselle shared her past, the abandonment, the label of ugly, that still echoed in her nightmares. Jordan held her through the tears, vowing to stand by her side. "One day you'll face them. And I'll be there," she promised. But life threw curves. Giselle landed a job as a writer for a progressive magazine in New York, her articles on LGBTQ+ rights gaining traction. Jordan's career soared too, but the distance from Giselle's unresolved pain created subtle cracks. Arguments flared over small things, masking Giselle's deeper fear that confronting her parents might shatter the fragile peace she'd built. One crisp autumn evening, as they walked through Central Park, leaves crunching underfoot, Jordan stopped abruptly. "Giselle, I love you more than anything, but you're carrying this ghost. It's eating at us. Go back. Tell them the truth, not just about us but about why they really left you." Giselle's heart raced, the idea terrifying yet liberating. She nodded, tears welling. That night, in their cozy apartment overlooking the East River, they planned the return. Little did Giselle know the truth she carried wasn't just her own sexuality. It was a family secret buried in old letters Clara had given her. Proof that her mother had once loved a woman too, before societal pressure forced her into a loveless marriage. The drive back to New Jersey felt eternal, Jordan's hand steady on the wheel. As they pulled into the familiar driveway, Giselle's pulse thundered. The house looked unchanged, a monument to pretense. Knocking on the door, she braced for impact. Evelyn opened it, her face paling like she'd seen a ghost. "Giseleandra? What are you doing here?" Richard appeared behind her, his expression hardening. Jordan squeezed Giselle's hand, a silent anchor. Inside, the living room smelled of stale coffee and regret. Giselle sat rigidly, launching into her story without preamble. "You threw me out because I didn't fit your idea of perfect. Because I was ugly, your word, not mine. But I'm here to tell you the truth you feared. I'm gay and I've found love with Jordan." Evelyn gasped, clutching her pearls while Richard's jaw tightened. But Giselle wasn't done. She pulled out the letters, faded missives from Evelyn's youth, addressed to a woman named Sarah, filled with passionate declarations of love. "You abandoned me for the same reason you abandoned yourself, Mom. You were in love with Sarah, weren't you? And Dad knew." The room exploded in denial. Evelyn sobbed. "How dare you dig up the past?" Richard shouted. "This is nonsense. Get out." Jordan stood firm, her voice calm but cutting. "No. Giselle deserves answers. You've hurt her enough." As accusations flew, the betrayal deepened. Richard confessed he'd known about Evelyn's affair but forced her to end it for the sake of appearances. "We built a life here. We couldn't let that ruin it." Evelyn broke down, admitting the truth. Her own suppressed desires had fueled her rage toward Giselle. "I saw myself in you and it terrified me. I thought abandoning you would bury it all." The confrontation stretched into the night, emotions raw and unfiltered. Giselle felt a storm of anger and pity. "You chose fear over love. But I won't." Jordan's presence grounded her, their bond a beacon amid the chaos. As dawn broke, Evelyn reached out tentatively. "I'm sorry, Giseleandra. Maybe we can try to understand." Richard remained silent, but a crack appeared in his armor. Leaving that house, Giselle felt lighter, though wounds lingered. In the car, Jordan pulled her close. "You did it. You're free." Back in New York, their relationship strengthened, forged in fire. Giselle's article about the experience went viral, inspiring others to confront their pasts. Months later, a tentative olive branch from Evelyn arrived. A letter not of excuses, but of genuine remorse and a desire to learn. The reconciliation wasn't immediate or easy. It began with hesitant phone calls, Evelyn's voice trembling as she asked about Giselle's life in the city. "Tell me about Jordan," she'd say, the name foreign on her tongue but spoken with effort. Giselle shared snippets, how Jordan's Puerto Rican heritage infused their home with vibrant music and family recipes, how they volunteered at Pride events, turning pain into purpose. Richard listened in the background, his grunts softening over time into actual questions. Jordan encouraged the outreach, her optimism a counter to Giselle's caution. "People can change, mi amor. Give them a chance." But doubts gnawed at Giselle. Was this genuine or just another facade? The answer came during a family crisis. Richard suffered a mild heart attack, the stress of his high-powered job catching up. From his hospital bed in Newark, he called Giselle. "I was wrong. About everything. Come see me." Jordan drove them there, her support unwavering. In the sterile room, Richard looked frail, tubes snaking across his chest. "I pushed you away because I couldn't face my own failures. I knew about your mother's past and I trapped us in this life of pretense. You being different reminded me of what we'd lost." Tears glistened in his eyes, a vulnerability Giselle had never seen. Evelyn sat beside him, holding his hand. "We were cowards, Giselle. But seeing you now so strong with Jordan, it makes me proud." The visit marked a turning point. Giselle introduced Jordan properly, watching her parents navigate the awkwardness with tentative warmth. Jordan's charm won them over, sharing stories of her own family's slow acceptance, emphasizing love over labels. Family isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, she said, her words resonating. As they left, Evelyn hugged Giselle tightly. Come back soon. Both of you. Back in Brooklyn, Giselle and Jordan's life flourished. They adopted a rescue dog, a scruffy mutt named Luna, who bounded through their apartment with joyful energy. Giselle's writing career took off. Her book deal for a memoir on queer resilience brought national attention. Interviews on podcasts and TV shows amplified her voice, but the spotlight brought shadows. An old flame from Jordan's past resurfaced, Maria, a charismatic artist who'd broken Jordan's heart years ago. Maria contacted Jordan via social media, claiming she'd changed and wanted closure. Jordan mentioned it casually, but Giselle sensed the undercurrent. It's nothing, Giselle. Just coffee to tie up loose ends. But the meeting stretched into hours, Jordan returning distant, her mind elsewhere. Suspicion crept in. What did she want? Giselle pressed. Jordan sighed. She apologized. Said she regrets leaving me for someone else. The words hung heavy, stirring Giselle's insecurities, the old label of ugly, whispering that she wasn't enough. Tensions escalated. Small arguments ballooned. Jordan working late, Giselle burying herself in deadlines. One night, after a heated fight over trust, Jordan stormed out. Giselle paced the apartment, Luna whining at her feet. Hours later, Jordan returned, eyes red. I didn't cheat, Giselle. But Maria. She kissed me. I pulled away, but it shook me. The confession hit like a betrayal, echoing Giselle's abandonment. How could you? Giselle cried, the pain raw. Jordan knelt, pleading. I love you. It was a mistake. A reminder of why I chose you. The fallout tested their bond. They sought couples therapy, a safe space in a cozy Manhattan office where Dr. Ellis guided them through layers of hurt. Betrayal isn't just physical. It's emotional, she said. Giselle unpacked her childhood wounds. Realizing her fear of loss fueled her reactions. Jordan admitted Maria's return stirred old validation she'd lacked from her family. Through tears and tough conversations, they rebuilt trust, emerging stronger. Meanwhile, Giselle's relationship with her parents deepened. They visited New York for the first time, Evelyn marveling at the skyline, Richard grumbling about traffic but smiling at Jordan's homemade empanadas. During dinner at a cozy Italian spot in the village, Evelyn shared her own story. Sarah was my everything in college. But in the 80s it wasn't safe. I chose security over love. Her eyes met Giselle's. Don't make my mistakes. Hold on to Jordan. The advice resonated as Giselle planned a surprise. On their 5th anniversary, under the same high-line lights where they first kissed, Giselle proposed. Jordan Reyes, you've healed parts of me I thought were broken. Will you marry me? Jordan's yes was tearful, the ring. A simple band with intertwined vines, symbolizing their growth. Cheers from passers-by filled the air. A quintessentially New York moment. But drama loomed. Maria, spurned, leaked old photos of her and Jordan to a tabloid, twisting the narrative to paint Jordan as unfaithful. The scandal hit just as Giselle's book launched, headlines screaming betrayal in the spotlight. Reporters hounded them, dredging up Giselle's past abandonment. Evelyn called furious. This is what happens when you live like this. The old prejudices resurfaced, straining the fragile bridge. Giselle confronted her mother over video call. This isn't about us being gay, Mom. It's about trust and forgiveness, things you need to learn too. Richard intervened, his voice steady. Evelyn, enough. We've come this far. The incident forced growth. Evelyn apologized, even attending a PFLG meeting to educate herself. As the dust settled, Giselle and Jordan's wedding plans proceeded. They chose an intimate ceremony in Central Park, surrounded by friends and, remarkably, Giselle's parents. Evelyn walked Giselle down the aisle, tears streaming. I'm so proud, she whispered. Richard shook Jordan's hand firmly. Welcome to the family. The vows were heartfelt. Giselle promising to face fears together, Jordan vowing eternal loyalty. As they kissed, applause erupted. A culmination of pain transformed into joy. In the reception under string lights, Giselle danced with her mother, the past shadows fading. Thank you for coming back, Evelyn said. Giselle smiled. Thank you for letting me. Post-wedding bliss enveloped Giselle and Jordan like a warm blanket. Their honeymoon in the rolling hills of Napa Valley was a dream: wine tastings, sunset hikes, and lazy mornings tangled in sheets, whispering futures. Kids? Maybe, Jordan mused, her fingers tracing Giselle's back. A little family of our own. Giselle nodded, the idea once terrifying now filled with possibility. Back in Brooklyn they settled into married life, Luna greeting them with ecstatic tail wags. Giselle's memoir, Ugly Truths, A Journey from Rejection to Love, climbed bestseller lists. Speaking tours took her across the U.S., from bustling Chicago conferences to quiet Southern libraries, where her story resonated with queer youth facing similar struggles. You're not ugly, you're unbreakable, she'd say, her voice steady, empowered by Jordan's unwavering support. But fame's double edge cut deep. Hate mail arrived. Anonymous letters echoing her parents' old words, threatening exposure of family secrets. One particularly venomous package contained altered photos of Giselle as a child, captioned "Still ugly inside." Shaken, Giselle confided in Jordan. What if this never ends? Jordan held her. We'll face it together. Always. They reported it to the police, but the investigation stalled, leaving unease lingering. Tensions with her parents eased, but not without hiccups. During a Thanksgiving visit to New Jersey, Evelyn slipped into old habits, commenting on Giselle's short hair. You'd look so pretty if you grew it out. Jordan interjected gently. She looks perfect as she is. Richard changed the subject, but the moment stung. Later, alone with Giselle, Evelyn apologized. I'm trying, honey. Old habits die hard. Giselle hugged her. I know, Mom. Keep trying. The real test came when Giselle discovered she was pregnant, via IVF, a decision they'd made after months of discussion. Joy mingled with anxiety. What if I'm not ready? What if I repeat the cycle? Giselle fretted. Jordan reassured her. You won't. You're nothing like them. Sharing the news with her parents was nerve-wracking. Over dinner in their home, Giselle announced, You're going to be grandparents. Evelyn's eyes widened in delight, Richard beaming uncharacteristically. A grandkid? That's wonderful. But Evelyn's next words chilled the air. Who's the father? Jordan's face hardened. There isn't one. We're using a donor. Silence fell. Richard cleared his throat. As long as the child's loved. Evelyn nodded slowly. Of course. I'm happy for you. Progress, albeit imperfect. As Giselle's belly grew, so did external pressures. A conservative talk show host attacked her book, calling her lifestyle a threat to family values. Protests formed outside her events, signs branding her ugly influence. One night, after a particularly hostile reading in Texas, Giselle broke down in their hotel room. Why fight when it hurts so much? Jordan pulled her close. Because your story saves lives. Remember that email from the teen in Alabama? You gave her hope. Inspiration struck. Giselle channeled the hate into a new project, a nonprofit for abandoned LGBTQ+ youth, found families. Jordan designed the logo, a phoenix rising from ashes. Launching it in New York with her parents in attendance felt triumphant. Evelyn volunteered, sharing her own regrets in support groups. I lost years with my daughter. Don't let fear steal yours. But betrayal lurked closer. Jordan's old friend Tomas, who managed her design firm, confessed he'd been skimming funds, jealous of her success. The discovery shattered Jordan. How could he? We were like family. The scandal threatened their stability, legal fees mounting. Giselle stood by her, roles reversed. We'll rebuild. Together. Amid the chaos, Giselle's water broke early at 34 weeks. Rushed to the hospital, panic gripped her. Is the baby okay? Jordan held her hand through contractions. Breathe more. We're in this. Their daughter, Sophia, arrived tiny but fierce, her cries filling the room. Holding her, Giselle wept. She's perfect. Jordan kissed her forehead. Like her mom's. Recovery was tough, Sophia in NICU, Giselle exhausted. Her parents arrived, Evelyn cooing over the incubator. She's a fighter like you. Richard, softer now, offered financial help. Let us be part of this. Gratitude swelled, but old wounds itched. One evening, as Evelyn rocked Sophia, she confessed more. Sarah reached out last year. We met. She's happy now, married to a woman. Giselle's eyes widened. And Evelyn smiled sadly. It closed a chapter. Made me see what I denied you. The revelation deepened their bond. Back home with Sophia thriving, life normalized. Giselle balanced motherhood and work. Jordan's business recovering after Tomas's arrest. But a final twist awaited. Digging through old family documents for her nonprofit's research, Giselle uncovered a hidden adoption paper. Proof she wasn't biologically Richard and Evelyn's. They'd adopted her as an infant, but hidden it, fearing stigma. Confronting them over Zoom, anger flared. Why lie? Was that why you abandoned me so easily? Evelyn sobbed. We were ashamed, not of you but of our infertility. When you came out it felt like another failure. Richard admitted. We thought blood ties mattered more. But they don't. You're our daughter. The truth, painful yet freeing, cemented forgiveness. Giselle invited them to Sophia's baptism, a blended ceremony honoring both heritages. As water sprinkled Sophia's head, unity washed over them. Family is chosen, the officiant said, words echoing their journey. With Sophia's first birthday approaching, Giselle and Jordan threw themselves into planning a backyard bash in their Brooklyn brownstone. Balloons bobbed in the breeze, a piñata shaped like a rainbow unicorn dangling from the oak tree. Friends mingled, queer couples, allies, even a few from Giselle's speaking circuit. Her parents arrived bearing gifts. A hand-knitted blanket from Evelyn, a college fund starter from Richard. For our granddaughter, he said gruffly, but his eyes twinkled. Watching Sophia toddle toward Evelyn, chubby hands outstretched, Giselle felt a surge of emotion. Look at us, a real family. Jordan squeezed her waist. We earned this. But beneath the joy, undercurrents stirred. Giselle's nonprofit boomed, demanding more time. Late nights drafting grants left her drained, snapping at Jordan over trifles. I need support, not complaints, Giselle said one evening, regretting it instantly. Jordan's response was measured. I'm here, but you're pushing me away. Therapy resumed, Dr. Ellis probing deeper. Success can mask unresolved grief. Giselle admitted the abandonment still haunted her dreams. Visions of that rainy day replaying. I fear losing everything again. Jordan shared her own fears. Maria's betrayal made me question loyalty. But I choose you every day. Healing came in small acts. Date nights revived. Strolls through Prospect Park, Sophia with a sitter. Laughter returned. Intimacy rekindled in whispered affirmations. You're my forever, Jordan murmured. Their connection reignited. Drama resurfaced via an unexpected visitor. Sarah, Evelyn's old love, contacted Giselle through the nonprofit. Your mother mentioned me. I'd like to meet if it's okay. Curiosity won. They met in a quiet cafe near Washington Square Park. Sarah, elegant in her 60s, shared stories. Evelyn and I were soulmates, but the world wasn't ready. I moved on, found peace. Giselle listened, piecing together her mother's fractured heart. She regrets it all. Sarah nodded. Tell her I forgive her. And you keep shining. Sharing with Evelyn sparked tears. Sarah? Alive and well. A reunion arranged, Giselle facilitating. In a neutral hotel lobby, the women embraced, decades of what-ifs dissolving. Richard waited outside, supportive. This is her closure. The meeting mended Evelyn further, her warmth toward Giselle and Jordan amplifying. But betrayal struck hardest from within the community. A board member at Found Families, envious of Giselle's fame, leaked internal emails twisting her words to suggest favoritism. The backlash was swift. Donors pulled out, media pounced. Hypocrite Harlan. Abandoned roots for spotlight, headlines blared. Devastated, Giselle retreated. Everything I built. Crumbling. Jordan rallied allies, exposing the saboteur. We fight back. The scandal passed, strengthening the organization. Giselle stepped back slightly, prioritizing family. Sophia's giggles filled their home, a bomb. One summer day at a pride parade in Manhattan, Giselle marched with her family, Evelyn waving a rainbow flag, Richard awkwardly but earnestly. Sophia on Jordan's shoulders cheering. This is progress, Giselle thought. Yet the ultimate test loomed. Richard's health declined, heart issues resurfacing. Hospitalized again, he requested Giselle. I need to say this. I'm proud of you. For forgiving us, for building this life. Tears flowed. I love you, Dad. He passed peacefully that night, Evelyn by his side. The funeral in New Jersey was somber. but tributes highlighted his late-life change. He learned love knows no bounds, Giselle eulogized. Grief bonded them. Evelyn moved closer, to a senior community in Queens, visiting often. Grandma Evie became Sophia's favorite. Storytime filled with tales of redemption. Giselle's writing evolved. A sequel memoir focusing on forgiveness. Jordan's designs graced book covers, their partnership unbreakable. As years ticked by, Sophia grew into a spirited 5-year-old, questioning everything. "Why two mommies?" she'd ask. Giselle explained gently. "Love makes a family." One evening, tucking her in, Sophia said, "You're the best moms." Jordan and Giselle shared a look, hearts full. Reflecting on her journey, Giselle realized the truth they feared was multifaceted. Not just her sexuality, but the mirror she held to their suppressions. In embracing it, they'd all found freedom. The family gathered for holidays, laughter echoing where silence once reigned. Evelyn, now an advocate, spoke at events with Giselle. "I was wrong. Love is love." Sophia's 10th birthday marked a milestone. The party in Central Park was joyous, picnics, games, friends from her diverse school. Giselle watched her daughter chase butterflies, Jordan snapping photos. Evelyn, now in her 70s but spry, baked the cake, a rainbow-layered masterpiece. "For my grandbaby," she beamed. The absence of Richard lingered, but his spirit felt present in their unity. Giselle's career had stabilized. Her books inspired a Netflix series, dramatizing queer stories with sensitivity. Jordan ran a successful agency mentoring young artists. Their marriage, weathered by storms, shone brighter. "We've come so far," Giselle said during a quiet anniversary dinner at their favorite rooftop spot, city lights twinkling below. But life ever dramatic threw one last curve. A DNA test Sophia took for a school project revealed unexpected relatives. A half-sibling from Richard's brief affair before marrying Evelyn. The news rocked them. "Dad had secrets too?" Giselle confronted Evelyn, who nodded wearily. "It was before us. He never knew the child." The sibling, a man named Ben in California, reached out cautiously. Meeting via video, similarities emerged. Shared mannerisms, a love for writing. Ben, straight and married, was welcoming. "I'd like to know my sister's family," Jordan encouraged. More love to go around. They met in person during a West Coast trip, bonds forming tentatively. Sophia adored her Uncle Ben. The extended family a testament to resilience. Through it all, Giselle and Jordan's love deepened. Challenges, Sophia's teen rebellions, career slumps, were met with empathy. "Remember our vows," they'd say, pulling through. Evelyn passed peacefully at 80, her last words to Giselle. "You taught me to love fully. Thank you." In her eulogy, Giselle spoke of transformation. "Mom went from fear to fierce ally. Her legacy is love." The nonprofit thrived, renamed Harlan Reyes Foundation, honoring their union. As Sophia graduated high school, proud and queer-identified herself, Giselle reflected on the cycle broken. "You gave me the strength," Sophia said at the ceremony. Jordan wiped tears. "We all did." Years later, in their empty nest phase, Giselle and Jordan traveled. Paris cafes, Tokyo streets, rekindling romance. Back home, they hosted gatherings for found families, stories shared around fire pits. The truth Giselle returned with wasn't just her identity. It was the power of authenticity to heal generations. In the end, what her parents feared became their salvation. A life rich in love, unmarred by pretense. As sun set over the Hudson, Giselle leaned into Jordan. "Worth every tear." Jordan kissed her. "And every joy." The story closed not in tragedy but in quiet triumph. A testament to human capacity for change, wrapped in the enduring embrace of true love.